There are 15rounds.com's own Norm Frauenheim, who's covered 9 billion of these fights here in Las Vegas. This is what really fight 7,326 for you.
Yeah, give or take a million.
You've been in Arizona. You grew up around, and you know what Mexican pride is.
Right.
Being around all the Mexican fighters
Right.
that you've been around, especially in Arizona. What's this fight? Symbolize? Got two great Mexican warriors fighting on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Actually, I was there for the Munguia Ryder fight a couple of months ago, and I think that there's this growing crowd of Mexican fans around Munguia. They like him. I'm not sure everybody likes Canelo. He's developed a little bit of the diva personality, but Munguia is more approachable, and I think in some ways he's seen more as a people's champion. He drew a huge crowd that night. So in Phoenix, at least, I wouldn't be surprised if he's favored by the fans, not by the odds makers, obviously.
I know styles makes fights, and because A beats B and B beats C, doesn't mean A is going to. One guy scored a knockout over Ryder, another guy went the distance with Ryder. You take anything into that?
Probably not. I think that Mexican pride is right now a Canelo monopoly, and I don't think he's going to give that up. He's very stubborn. He's very determined. But what's interesting in the fight to me is if Munguia can get him into the 8th or 9th round. I'm not sure he can. Everybody assumes, I don't assume, but a lot of people I respect think that Munguia gets knocked out by a counter. Maybe so. His defense is a little bit porous, although he looked pretty good against Ryder.
He blocks a lot of punches with his face, Munguia.
Yes, he does. So maybe that'll be the case. But if he gets him into the 8th or 9th round, we all know what we have seen of Canelo lately, where he runs out of gas. And Munguia impressed me against Ryder because he's a little bit more athletic, I think, than people give him credit for. And I think he's taken to what Freddie Roach is teaching him. But Freddie admits this is only his second fight with him. He might need a little bit more time. What I foresee is Munguia gives Canelo a heck of a fight, perhaps even controversial, loses it, but creates the argument for a rematch and beats him in the rematch.
My conventional wisdom is, we know Canelo, he throws 35, 40 punches around, economical. Munguia is going to, I think, make him try to fight 3 minutes of every round.
He'll do that, yeah. I mean, and I think there's a lot to that, but Canelo knows how to land his punches, And I'm not convinced that Munguia has grown up. Doesn't have that mature body yet to withstand some of that. We'll see. But he was awful impressive against Ryder. He really was.
What do you think? We just saw Edgar Berlanga. I got a couple minutes of video. Yeah. He's a very interested spectator. He just said he's not on a short list. He believes he's going to be the guy should Canelo win Saturday night.
Yeah. Who knows what Canelo's going to do? I know for a fact that PBC wants the Benavidez fight. They want it. I don't know where those discussions have led to. I think Benavidez has kind of moved on, but I don't think PBC has. So and then Canelo demanding $150 to $200 million. To me, the message in that is it ain't gonna happen.
Well, you know what? Maybe he's a guy in Saudi Arabia can make that happen.
Maybe, but even that
that's a lot of money.
That's just a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how Benavidez looks at 175 pounds on June 15th.
And we'll have that announcement official this Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Takes on Alexander Gavatsik, a guy who got beat up by Better Biev a couple years ago and kind of had to retire for a moment or two. And don't know how well that's going to bode for Gavastik come June the 15th.
Yeah, I don't know, but it'd just be interesting to see how David Benavidez takes a punch against a legit 175-pound guy. I know that the stories from the Bivol Benavidez sparring from a couple of years ago was that Benavidez really beat up Bivol, but we'll finally see with David.
2 weeks from Saturday, we're going to hopefully crown an undisputed heavyweight champion in the world. What do you make of that?
I have no idea what to make of it, to be honest with you.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, I have to admit that I'm a little bit surprised that it's happening. A few weeks ago, I would have bet that's not going to happen because I just thought
whatever reason cuts happen.
Fury, I don't think he's really been into the sport since that crazy Wilder fight, and you can understand that. But apparently, he's been working hard. He's been quiet.
I don't understand what would motivate a guy to, and we just mentioned $150 million for Canelo.
Yeah.
He's probably getting a good percentage of that.
Yeah. At least a third of it. Anyway.
Probably, yeah.
That would be my guess. Right now, I think Usyk beats him, but
I was just about to ask your prediction.
But it's ominous to me, at least if I'm in Usyk's camp, that Fury has been so quiet. Because when he starts talking, then he's trying to divert everybody's attention. That tells me that his focus might be there.
Well, we might see a 245, 250-pound. I don't think it's going to get that low, but yeah, I mean, for one last thing, obviously, I don't think he loves the sport, Fury, like you said, but maybe he's got that one last great performance in him that he's going to tell everyone, go, all right, guys, I got everything. What can you say now? Go F yourself. Leave me alone.
Right. No, I just got a lot of pride. That's what you're saying, and I there's no question. I like Fury. He's made me laugh over the years. I've frankly gotten tired of listening to some of that, but that wears thin on everybody. So we'll see.
Last but not least, the hot topic. I don't know if it's Stoney the Thunder from what we're doing here this week, but about 18 hours ago, we got the news that Ryan Garcia tested positive for some kind of I don't even
anabolic. They call it it's an anabolic derivative.
And everything, the lead up to that fight, everything that's going on with that fight, the 3.5 pounds, not surprising, huh? I mean, not surprising. It was maybe a little bit surprised it was that. A weed test pot came up. Yeah, I could probably, we could probably understand or foresaw it. But, that's it to me. And, I'm gonna keep saying this. Call me naive. And I'm going to call me naive or maybe call me stupid. But I think a lot of these guys, they're not trying to some probably are trying to juice themselves up.
Sure.
They're putting so many of these different products in them. They don't know what the heck they're putting in their body.
Well, I mean, I have countless stories about that. And one of them involves Fernando Vargas. And he had a nutritionist, and he said he was just in the morning, he took whatever pills the nutritionist put in front of him, and he said his wife was the first one to discover that something was changing in his upper body, and it turns out it was steroids. Was he just BSing or not? I don't know, but it's a plausible story.
I definitely think at least some of them were. I mean, some of them, weren't just put some kind of needle in their arm or get shot up with this or shot with that. They take all these freaking supplements and, I don't know if there's a reason why the print is so small on these labels. I wouldn't be able to read them. So
that said, I'm like you. I would have been more surprised, if he hadn't tested positive or something. He was virtually broadcasting that I'm using this, I'm using that, blah, blah, blah. Right?
What do you want to say out there as we get to the midpoint of 2024 in terms of the boxing year? It's been pretty good so far. And a lot of it it's unbelievable. I would told you like 10 years ago we're going to need to go to Saudi Arabia to make big fights happen.
Yeah, we'll see how long a lot of that lasts.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I've been told, I had a conversation with Bob Arum in Phoenix before Oscar Valdez's last fight, and he said it's different going there because they don't really have a live crowd, so the people don't really know what they're watching.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this year in Phoenix. We've got the Estrada Bam Rodriguez fight, which I think is a historic fight for the lighter weight classes. But what really interests me after that is Terrence Crawford, and I'm also anxious to see Boots Ennis.
Yeah, Boots, hopefully in Philly.
Yeah.
Well, Norm, we always do this at least once during fight week. And,
good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We got a nice little setup. Thanks to my man, Steve Pratt. That's Pratt. That's the man that you got to. You can't say. There you go. As he sneaks into our shop. Norm, we'll watch the fight. And we'll see what happens on Saturday night.
All right. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Mark.
All right.